Hi, welcome to Two Non-Doctors. I'm Liz Mieles.
I'm Maria Shahada.
Have you guys subscribed? I can't keep doing this. Subscribe. Don't hurt our feelings. Subscribe. I know I'm acting like people haven't subscribed. Thank you for subscribing.
Thank you. Yes.
If you haven't
Thank
subscribed, subscribe.
It's really just a button, isn't it?
Yeah. And you can always undo it. Maybe that's what the hurt is, feeling like people might have undone it after they've done it.
I think that's something we need to work on personally.
Yeah, I think that's an us issue.
That's an us issue. It's an us issue. It's an us
issue. Mm-hmm. Subscribe. Thank you for everybody that's joined our Patreon. If you don't know, we have a Patreon.
Do you know what's cool about our Patreon?
What is cool about our Patreon, Maria?
You get stickers of our new logo.
Yeah, we have a new logo.
You want a sticker?
Stickers.
Yeah.
So, stickers, guys.
That would be enough to sway me, honestly.
I love stickers, truthfully. And then what else? Oh, rate and review us. Do that shit, guys, please.
We love the reviews. We love reading the reviews. It honestly, it makes our days. And
because we have nothing going on. So we like positivity coming our way. I'm just setting our timer because if we don't.
Oh, that's right. We'll go an hour and a half, hour 45.
Yeah.
And I have to cut out like an hour's worth of.
Oh yeah. Well, I'll also I haven't eaten. So I'll just start getting grumpy in the middle of it. And I'll be like, why am I grumpy? And then I'll look and I'll be like, oh, we've been doing this for 2 hours because friendship has no bounds.
Well, it has an hour and a half bounds apparently.
Only if I'm not eating. In a normal friendship, I'd be eating and.
No, I hate doing the podcast hungry because it's I love you so much, but when I'm hungry, I'm like, shut the fuck up. Shut up.
Liz, your ideas are dumb, and I've told you that.
They're never dumb. They're just long-winded, long-winded
ideas,
which I don't mind when I'm not hungry, but when I'm hungry, it's like.
I do like the idea. I do like the idea that I'm on some rant, and then just a chip pops up and you're like, you just have popcorn.
What if it was somebody else's hand just and it just comes just oh.
It's it's almost like that thing where you're just why wait, don't let how do I there's a part of me the same way, not like a Snickers bar commercial, but this idea that a friend goes on long and long, or there's a ballet, your child's in a ballerina recital or whatever,
right? Gonna be here a while.
Yeah, exactly, and they're just here's the snack. That should be one of our Patreons. We should have snacks.
Do you know what, if Snickers wanted to sponsor us, we would have some really funny ideas for them.
Yeah, I really think we could help their brand. All right, let's get into fan mail. I've done this too much.
By the way, we're on the Unpops Network, which we're really happy to be a part of. So check us out. Check out all the other podcasts. Unpopular Opinion specifically, one of my favorites. Okay, fan mail?
Yeah.
So this is from Bernard. He says, I have misophonia. A friend diagnosed me too. Good friend, Bernard.
Best friend.
Because they were
that's a hard conversation.
I'm going to find out what this is.
Yeah.
For you, those of you who don't know, we did our first episode on misophonia, which Liz diagnosed me with because it was something I've always had. I just didn't know there's a name for it.
Yeah, and I was like, she's crazy, but I feel like there's a term for it.
There must be a term for it, right? And I was like, there's no term. I'm just weird. And not that you're weird, Bernard, but and then you found an article explaining what it was. It was a game changer for me. It was huge. I knew I wasn't alone. And so I think that's probably what Bernard was feeling. So he says, I have misophonia. A friend diagnosed me too. Having a label for what is wrong was a huge relief. Oh, yeah. To me too. And it also made it much easier to talk about. Almost all chewing noises trigger me. Leg tapping does as well. I've never been triggered by pen clicks or hair twirling though, which I'm very much triggered by. That's me saying it, Maria. I'm triggered by hair twirling and shit. And then he says, the only time my dad sits still is when he's eating, which means I would leave the room almost as he entered. I didn't know until my mom told me, but for a while in my teens, he thought I hated him. When I talk about it, I feel like people can understand the disgust and the nails on a chalkboard type reaction, but I struggle to express the anger. It's so irrational and so strong. Yeah, 100%. It makes no sense. And it's so hard to describe why gum chewing sends you into the kind of rage that it does. But it's weird. It's a weird thing to try to tell people.
I mean, I think it actually made me sad when he said his mom admitted that she thought
his dad thought he hated him.
Yeah. And it made, because I think that misunderstanding with not just misophonia, just so many other issues. We were talking before the podcast, I was just talking about how grumpy and just like kind of, I don't know if it's PMS or rage or whatever, but like you're at a place where you're just trying to contain your own anger or feelings, and you're doing your best not to put that on somebody else, but you're like, if I stay in the room, someone will die. So I'm going to take myself out of this situation. And you feel like you're doing the right thing, and you feel like you're protecting yourself and you're protecting other people, but how people interpret that protection or interpret that self-preservation, it's like, it's heartbreaking, because you want to be able to explain, hey, chewing makes me want to murder people, and it's not you, it's the situation. But when that sounds like an excuse or sounds like it's made up, or like, it just feels
exactly what we talked about when like 3 women in hijab sat down with us on the subway, and I got up and left because one of them was chewing gum, but it looks bad. It looks
yeah,
like,
I was like, no, he's not. No, she's not racist. She's just crazy.
No, I
totally
hate your
different.
gum chewing.
No, I don't hate you or you as a person or your religion. It's what you're doing with your mouth is horrendous. Yeah, I mean, and that's why, like, I think that was like the whole motivation, A, for doing this podcast, but B, for starting with misophonia, is like, if Maria can somehow, if we can both somehow kind of get the word out, so that the same way that people understand OCD more, they understand depression more, or ADHD, like all these things that, 10, 20, however years ago, people just couldn't really fathom. And now most people get it on even just like a vague level, so that you feel a little less crazy. I think it makes a world of a difference for so many people. And the fact that so many people, like, we got a ton of people that were like, that's what it is. Like, I feel like we diagnosed a bunch of people.
Yeah, I mean, that makes me happy when people relate to it. Like, if they didn't know what it was before and they thought there was something wrong with them, and then they were like, oh, it has a name. It's this. That's so great that other people feel this way. That makes me really happy, because I was so relieved when I found out what it was and that other people had it. It just makes you feel less crazy, I guess.
It makes you feel less alone, because
yeah.
I think with half the issues we've talked about on the podcast, you just kind of have that moment where you're just like, am I the only person that deals with this? Am I the only person that struggles with this?
Yeah, right. It's that moment when you're Googling something and it doesn't predict what you're going to say, and you're like, oh my God, I'm the only one.
I'm the only one that has this issue.
I have to move that, or it's going to kill me. All right. Why would you sit on a beanbag for her recorded? Why would you do that? Don't know.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. You're just gonna in the middle. You're just gonna slink off. Are you gonna make this all creepy? Like we're like in.
Can't hear you. Just so you know.
I know. I'm just. Yep. Yeah. Okay. All right. It's just Maria redecorating in the middle of our podcast. Not a big deal. We had plenty of time to redecorate before this happened, but yeah, here she is.
What did
redecorating.
What were you saying?
Just you redecorating in the middle of the podcast. We didn't even anything.
It was just weird white thing in the background, and like, my room's
dirty gym clothes right there.
My room's being painted, so everything in my room is here.
Chaos.
It's here. Yeah. So Amanda's been loving this. My flatmate, okay. Why don't I just stop moving everyone around there? Just my shit's just been in the living room for weeks.
Let's thank Bernard and move on.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you for writing, Bernard. Thanks for the comment.
Yeah, thank you so much. Okay, let's get into Google since we're insane today. Yeah, shimmy in there. Okay, what's your Google this week?
Oh, is fried tofu bad for you?
Oh.
You know how I go through like phases with what I'm eating and what my diet is? Because I was doing Huel for a while. Now I'm on to veganism. No, I'm sorry. I'm on to being plant-based. Just going to update it a little bit.
Okay.
But all the Chinese restaurants here, because I'm still getting takeout, some diet, but all the Chinese restaurants here will send fried tofu. Because in the States, when you order tofu, like you can get the silken kind or...
Yeah, I realized that pretty quickly, that you have to like differentiate what I wanted it like pan seared, I guess.
Yeah.
As opposed to fried. Because I was like, even at my worst in my diet, I was like, I don't want this.
Yeah, and it's all deep fried. So I was having that like 5 nights a week.
This diet isn't working. I don't understand why.
I don't know why. I've Googled it so many times. I can't find more than one website. And I think it's like allplants.com or something says it's not as caloric as you think it would be. Because like I've heard that, you know, because it's deep fried, the tofu acts like a sponge and soaks up all the oil, and it's actually really, really bad for you. I couldn't find anything like that at all about it.
That's some fucking Chinese conspiracy right there.
Right.
There's not one thing that says it's not great for you when we all know anything fried isn't great for you.
I know. And then there's like a link to like Mark Pies or something. But like nothing. So besides that, nobody said, oh, like don't eat fried tofu. Why don't you just drink a bottle of sunflower oil? I was expecting that, but I didn't see it. So I don't know if like maybe like your Googles are different than my Googles. Like if you Googled fried tofu bad for you.
Like American Googles? Oh my God, let's experiment. So what is it? What was the question?
You could try deep fried, but is deep fried tofu bad for you?
I get Fit Day. Is fried tofu a healthy option? I'm getting tons of things, Muffin.
You're kidding.
Okay. Is it full of plants was the thing that you got?
Full of plants.
Okay, so I won't listen to that. Fit Day says, all right, maybe not. This is like,
yeah, that's the thing, is like you think. And then like Calorie King is like, I couldn't even get an accurate count of how many calories it had. So I'm just gonna go with it's good for you. Just continue eating it and see if I get fat.
Anything fried is bad for you, dude. That's such a bad idea.
Yeah, but it's not like fried chicken.
What's the difference? I mean,
tofu
chicken
has phytochemicals? No, that's a lie. I don't know.
If I'm having grilled chicken as opposed to fried chicken, it's still fried and it's garbage. Same with, I think anything you fry makes it garbage.
Yeah. All right.
Now you're asking, is it even worse because this is like almost like a sponge and it's soaking it in as opposed to like chicken or something else that's fried? Like, is a deep fried Oreo a health food? These are questions we'll never know.
It's better not to just don't ask. Just
don't ask. Just eat it at a carnival and pretend like it never happened. Honestly, everything that I know about oils, frying too much, an excessive amount of oils and then deep frying them, it's horrible for you. I just can't imagine in any world that's, even if it's not caloric, it is rotting your insides.
Okay. Because I genuinely think being vegan is so much worse for me than just eating, like if I ate paleo or something, because I'll eat like a bean burrito with corn mince, which is a brand of fake mince. But then I had like Violife cheese, which is vegan cheese, which it's like coconut and some other shit. Like, but I don't like, it's not food. Do you know what I mean? Like the Violife tasted exactly like really processed fake cheese in the States that like you might put in your kids' like lunchbox.
Yeah, like it's like the parallel side of like the fucking cheese that's in the plastic wrap, like like where it's like you're like it's like an orange color and you're like, what cheese is orange? Like I just don't understand.
Like I think it's healthier than that, but not healthier than cheese. But then you're not getting the hormones that are in cheese. I don't know.
Yeah, but then also like yes, I don't know. I've always been of the, if you're eating real food and real meat, it's better than anything that's fake. You know what I mean? But like, first of all, I could never do it just because of my dietary restrictions or my allergies. But if I was going to do it, I know how lazy I am. And I would just make fat kid choices for veganism. You know what I mean?
Oh, like, yeah. It's so easy to like just have like
I'd go from
sweet
like
potato fries and.
Exactly. Like I would go from like a regular hot dog to like a soy hot dog, or I'd be eating just pizza, like crappy pizza. Like it would just be like me taking a different side.
The other day I got a plant-based burger that it's supposed to come with Gouda cheese and like a chipotle mayo, and so I said no mayo and no cheese, and so it was just this fucking little like pathetic patty of lentils or whatever they're made out of for $13.50. Like you probably could have gotten 6 frozen for £2. I was so mad, like I don't like being vegan because you go to restaurants and if there's one vegan option, they like everybody like prides themselves, like pat on the back, like well done having a vegan option. But it's like, what if I don't fucking want fried vegan macaroni and cheese balls? But it's like, well, that's what you get because you get the one choice, and it's just I'm bored too. I'm bored.
I don't know how you're doing it. I mean, are things opening up a little bit in the UK?
Yeah.
Like at least things are opening up a little bit, and you have some choices. But like we're still pretty much quarantined. And
are you?
Yeah, I mean, like you could eat outside a little bit, but like it's like 10% better than it was before.
Yeah,
I need to go gluten-free, so I'm like same kind of like am I going to be able to do this in this abbreviated life that I'm living right now?
Yeah.
Cool. Inconclusive.
Anybody just has somehow been able to measure caloric content for deep fried tofu, please let me know.
We need help. Okay, my Google was, I kind of knew this, but I kind of just wanted it to be reaffirmed. I was like, can a lack of movement cause insomnia?
Okay.
I'm a little bit better this week, but like the last couple of weeks, I've just been like really bad. Like I went to bed at 6:30 in the morning 2 weeks ago, and then like woke up at, I think like 11, and then it never got that bad again, but like went to bed most days between 3 and 4, and then woke up at like 10:30, 11. And I was just like losing my goddamn mind. And I was trying to make a rule that I had to walk a mile, which really isn't that far. But we're talking about like 20 minutes total of my day, and I just couldn't get myself to do it half the day. And I was doing pretty good about running and then whatever. But anyway, it was just like, wasn't moving as much, plus I couldn't sleep. And it basically says like, yeah, like a lack of exercise is connected to poor sleep quality, and that the type of exercise also kind of affects your sleep. So like they say cardio, running, CrossFit helps more than maybe some low impact stuff. So even the fact that I was like low, just go for a walk, Liz, and I couldn't even get myself to do that. So who knows, just like being inside on my computer all day, how much that's affecting me. So it's like, I've kind of always known, because I had insomnia in high school really bad, and I read a sleep book about it, that like I need to do something physical. And whenever I've like really kind of beat the shit out of myself exercise wise, even if my brain is crazy, even if I'm like depressed or angry or overwhelmed, just the fact that I like really worked out hard that day will often put me to sleep. So the fact that like I'm not even walking to the subway half the day.
Yeah, like if I look at the amount of steps I've taken, I think I made some joke about 12 steps being my Fitbit count and not my
not your program for alcoholism.
Yeah, but just like over lockdown, like, because you're not walking anywhere, I'd be happy to get 1,000 steps in, honestly. It's really unhealthy, and you get used to it, and then you're just like, oh, I can't be fucked to walk like that far to the subway. Are you serious?
I've been trying to trick myself, like going, like if I have to go to CVS, going to the one that's farther away, or like I'll go to the post office and then I'll be like, oh, there's grocery stores nearby. You know what? I'll do the grocery store tomorrow. Like, you know what I mean? Like trying to like finagle extra walks in, because, you know, we've talked about it a million times. Walking without a purpose just feels like, I just feel like I'm 90 and I'm just like slowing death down. I just can't. I need to meet a friend. And that's the other thing, is like, I was doing pretty good about meeting a friend in the park like once or twice a week, and that was motivation. And I'm like a 45-minute to the park. So like I would walk to the park, I would walk with my friend, I would walk home for the most part. I feel like every day I have to find a new way to trick myself. It's almost like, okay, so my cat was on some medication and they had these pill poppers where it was like a pill, it was like a treat that had a hole in it. You would put the medication in it, close it, and then you would give the cat the treat and they would eat the pill, and you'd be like, I tricked him, I did it. And so it works really well for 2 weeks. So for 2 weeks, the cat's like, oh, a treat. And they eat it and they're like, there's something off about this treat. and then like the next day they forget and they're like, every time I eat this treat, it's crunchy in the middle. It tastes like acid. And so that happens. And after 2 weeks, your cat's like, fuck this. So then my cat would start eating around the treat and leaving the pill. And then eventually my cat was like, fuck your treats. And it's like so super common. Like every person's like, these pill poppers, I don't know what they're called. They're good for 2 weeks, but they figure it out so quickly. Dogs are like, every time it tastes weird, but you know what? Life's weird. Just get into it. Just lean into the weird, guys. But it was so funny to me that like, that's almost how I feel with myself. Like, I feel like every day I'm like, we're going to go for a walk because walking's great and it's good for your body. And I'll be like, yeah, you're smart, Liz. And then the next day I'm just like, it's hot and I don't want to. And you're like, just get groceries. Okay. And then the third day I'm like, I'll just eat whatever's in my fridge. Like, you can't make me go outside. Like, I just feel like every day gets harder and harder to trick myself into movement.
Yeah.
And I like exercising. That's the craziest part about it. I'm one of the people that likes
I
exercising.
know that's problematic. Like if you can't even motivate yourself enough to walk, there's no way I'm gonna fucking walk. I just like, I'm like, how am I gonna get back on stage again? I'm just like, oh
Oh
God.
God.
Comedy clubs are starting to open up, and I'm like, if I email, they're gonna book me. And if they book me, I have to get up get up off my ass and go. No, but
I,
like, I got it.
I
So
rewatched Wall-E this weekend. Did you ever watch Wall-E? Disney
no.
movie? Oh, it's basically about, I couldn't even tell you what it's about, but I think the thing that I always loved about it is the earth becomes such trash that they send everybody for a 5-year vacation as they clean earth. So they send everybody to space, and they have like these little hoverboard, like you don't have to walk anywhere. You're just like on this hover thing, and like robots hand you drinks. Everything's in a drink. So all your meals are in a drink, and then you're on this hover thing, and then you have a screen in front of you. So everybody's like super fat. Everybody looks like big babies on it. And there was a part of me that's like, we are so close to becoming that. Like, but on earth. Like, I'm so
Yeah.
close to like, if I get myself a scooter and really never have to walk again.
It,
I always thought I would never be somebody that like liked convenience, because I like walking to the like I like being active and stuff like that. But it was a means to get somewhere, so it didn't feel like, I don't know.
it's a
I think
crazy downward spiral.
I
And
broke myself.
yeah,
This pandemic broke me.
I think it did. But your original question was about how you can't sleep. So do you think your inactivity is causing causing your insomnia?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, also life sucks and blah 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 blah. Like my thing is that my brain never stops, and exercise made it so that even though
Okay.
my brain still doesn't stop, I'm so physically tired that it like puts me to sleep. So I feel like for the last 20 or so years, I used physical exercise to like as like a kill switch for my brain, because I can't get it to shut off anyway. So now it's like my brain is like overworking in general because of everything that's going on, and I'm not moving, and I think the combination is just making me the worst.
I think you're supposed to start yawning, even if you don't have to yawn.
That's your advice?
Yeah. Trick your brain. Just start yawning.
It's like those people that tell you to smile because just the act of smiling makes you happier,
That's
and you're like, even if that's true, I'm not going to be sitting on the subway like eh?
Well, you wouldn't do it on the subway, Liz. You'd go to the bathroom and do it there in some public
That's
toilet somewhere.
I can't. There's the level of low that I have to feel to like smile by myself. Nope, we're moving on. Okay. Let's get personal. What's your go-to move when you feel like shit to like make yourself feel better?
I love to just sit and allow myself to binge watch TV.
Okay. Anything in particular, or is it just anything that is a series?
I mean, like any good series, like binge watching The Sopranos or Mad Men. I mean, just like something really good. Nothing like, I'm not like into trash TV. Like, I don't like to binge watch reality shows or anything. Although I did binge watch Love Island. Anyway, but just allowing that, like, because I think there's a certain like guilt I feel when I do binge watch something, and I'm just like, oh, I should be doing something else. But like, if I'm feeling down, I'm just like, you know what? Why don't you get like order some food, order takeout, have a seat, watch shows, eat, and just take care of yourself. And like that is to me like, oh, it's amazing.
Do you feel when you've given yourself that break, you don't feel as guilty about it? When you've been like, all right,
Yeah.
today, take a break on today. We're going to order something. We're going to watch 7 episodes of this. And this is what we're doing today. Like when
Yeah,
you
I
almost
don't
make
I don't
it a
even
plan.
say like 7 episodes, because that seems like it's like,
That's not
don't go
enough.
over 7. It's just like,
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
just chill out. You know what? Like today's an off day. You don't have
Yeah.
to do anything. And then it, like if something pops in my head, it's like, no, not today. Today's my day off. Because we have those careers that just sort of seep into every part of our lives.
24 hours, 7 days a week. There's no like turning it off. You can't even get away from your phone, because like a booker could be like, hey, can you do this thing? And if you don't catch it in like a half hour, they're like, oh, I gave it to somebody else. You're like,
Yeah.
that's fine. It was like the only thing I look forward to. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's the only way I can pay my bills. Don't worry about it. You could have called. I don't know why you texted. If it was so important, you could have fucking called. Very angry today. Okay. Do you feel like after you do that, let's say fast forward next day, it like reset you? Like, do you think it actually helps, or is it just a way to be like, I can't handle my feelings right now?
It depends on what's wrong with me. But if I have if I'm having just a bad evening, it's like, all right, just chill out, watch some TV, and then, tomorrow's another day. if I'm having a bad time in my life, it's just like, that's just something that's going to kill the time until I have to deal with it again tomorrow. But it's just like, sometimes you just have to turn off your thoughts,
Yeah,
you know?
I agree. And sometimes they're just like overwhelming and you're like, I'm not going to solve them today. So I might as well just like put them over there.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, we'll deal with you later.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mine's a combination. I think when I'm like in a really bad place, either, and it kind of depends on what the reasoning is. It's either watch something funny. Like I still love watching stand up. Like I was sad last week and I watched Patton Oswalt's new special. I think it's called either I Love Everything or I Hate Everything, which is kind of funny that I don't know. Those are
They're
two
one and the
opposite
same.
feelings. I've always loved him. I forgot he had a special. I watched it. It was great. And it was just like, I just needed to like almost that fake smiling to make yourself feel better. I just needed to like kind of laugh and forget about my own life and just remember that not everything is awful. Even though we all know everything is awful. And it genuinely helped. I mean, I've been doing that since I was 13 years old, like, or
Yeah.
probably even younger, if I'm being honest. I think I used to put on cartoons and stuff, or even like watching Wall-E the other week. Like that was definitely like, I just need something that I love to be on that's going to make me smile and feel better. Stand up is usually my go-to, or like a funny show. The other thing is calling a friend. Like I will call you, I will call my sister, and we'll genuinely be like, hey, I'm sad and I just need to vent and I don't want your opinion.
Yeah.
The amount of times I've called up Emily and I was like, hey, I don't want advice. I just want to cry and vent. And she's like, I was like, are you okay with doing that? And she's like, can I eat first? And I go, oh, yeah.
That's so
like,
funny.
I'll call you in
Like,
20 minutes.
honestly, all she'd have to do is just put the phone down on speaker in the kitchen while she made a sandwich, and you just let you go off, you know?
Truly. She's like, although I can always tell when she puts me on mute. Like, it's kind of funny. There's been some times where she put me on mute. I'm like, why am I on mute? She was like, dude, my neighbor was asking a question. I was like, I want full focus. Just tell me to pause. I can pause my rants.
That's awesome.
Full focus. I don't like, and like, I've peed on the phone with her, so I'd be like, hey, I'm peeing, so I'm going to put you on mute. And she's like, okay. But if I get put on mute and there was no reason I was put on mute, I'm like, what is this? Are you not focusing?
You talking about
me?
me?
I don't like this. You're like, sorry, my sister's being crazy. I want to know that you said that to your husband.
Yeah, it's funny because like I don't normally like to talk about anything until it gets bad enough, and then I'm like, is this a Liz conversation bad? I think it is. And then I'll text you.
I think the biggest thing that's helped me, because you know me, I give our whole podcast is unsolicited advice. So I give unsolicited advice and I hate receiving unsolicited advice. And it's taken me a long time. Like I've had people be like, hey, I just want you to listen. And I'd be like, I'm going to listen. I could do this. And it's like painful. But now over time, I see the benefits of both being somebody that just listens. And then also I see the benefit of just being like, can you listen? So I've gotten better at almost telling people how I want the conversation to go, which feels like such a control freak thing, but it does help. And then even you or my sister have been like, hey, can I say something? And I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm ready now. I feel like I've like purged and now I'm ready. And you'd be like, it seems like you might need to talk to that person. I was like, I hate your advice, but that's really good. That's good.
I've never told you to talk to somebody.
Yeah, I don't think you have.
Like, oh, fuck it.
You're like, no, yeah. You're just giving your advice back. But yeah, I would say, depending on what I'm upset about, like also, if I'm being honest, I think it's talk to a friend and like just kind of get it out, because I hold all my feelings inside and I try to deny them. So just kind of being honest that I'm upset with somebody, or being honest that I'm frustrated, whatever it is, just kind of helps relieve it. But a lot of times I go to watching something funny first, because by the time I've acknowledged that I'm upset, it's 3 a.m. and everybody's asleep.
Yeah.
So it's like I almost need both of those depending on what day it is. Or what used to happen when people had jobs is it would be like 2 p.m. and I'd be like crazy and everybody's working and they can't talk to me because they have jobs. Okay, so our topic is meditation. And what I do find funny about what you just said is that I was trying so hard, like 3 years ago, to make it a part of my life and to go from I'm angry or upset, I'm going to meditate. And I just cannot make that jump. And what was the excuse all along? We don't have time. I don't have time. I don't have time. Even though every single book tells you just take 3 minutes. It doesn't have to be an hour. It doesn't have to be 20 minutes. Just 3 minutes. Just sit and breathe and relax. And there's an old Mitch Hedberg joke about flossing where he was just like, man, you look jittery. And he's like, did you quit drinking? No, man, I'm about to floss. Like the ability to start a habit is just as exhausting and overwhelming as stopping a habit. And it's one of the most relatable jokes to me because I feel like trying to get myself to meditate and get better at it is, I think, how most people feel about exercise. And I love the whole process of, even though I granted that I'm having
You love exercise. So what do you think the block is? What do you think your block is with meditation?
Because it's hard. My brain is constantly like the best advice I was given for meditation is that, what you're trying to do is just quiet your mind. That's all you're really trying to do. But what happens is I quiet my mind, and then like it could be anything from like, he fucking said he would call me and he didn't call me, or oh shit, I forgot I have to mail that thing or I'm going to get fined. Like, it's like these like, I have to do this thing. Or it's like every dark thought I've been pushing down is like, God, trying to get up. And of course they tell you acknowledge that you're thinking it and then quiet it down again. But it feels like a 200-pound man keeps like fucking like pushing me down. And I'm like being like, no, I want to quiet my mind. And this like 200-pound man is like, no, we're going to think about our problems. So I just feel like, I know
but it's useless.
I wouldn't say that's useless because I do think it has benefits, but I haven't been able to get to the part where the benefits are because it's so much work. Like they're telling you just sit still and you're like, it's so hard.
Because I've had the same experience. I can't stand being told how to breathe. I start to like panic. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like, like when you have to kind of like control your breath and like breathe in for 3 seconds, then out for 3 seconds. And like just doing that alone makes me like sort of hyperventilate. So I don't like that. And I don't like having to sit in a position with your hands, like palms facing up, and it all feels so unnatural. But
my compromise is I would lay down. I'd be like, fuck it, I'm just going to lay down.
Yeah.
Although I will admit I've fallen asleep a lot. But like that's one of the reasons I think they tell you not to lay down. But when I've decided I'm just going to meditate for 5 minutes, I will lay down because it's like, that's the compromise I'll make. Like I'll do it, but I'm going to fucking lay down.
I have this backyard that have like really big trees in it. And then when the wind goes through it, they make this swishy noise. It's fucking peaceful. So I'll put on a Deepak Chopra, like his 21 days meditation thing. And I'll just like kind of like watch the trees and listen to him. And it's been great. Because he'll kind of guide you for the first bit of it and tell you what your intention is. And then he'll let you go for about 5 minutes. And he was like, I'll chime when we're done. And so then you can just kind of like, you can get into your head. And then when thoughts come in, you can just be like, thank you, and push them away. And then it's like 5 minutes and it's over quicker than you would think. And I feel so amazing after. But, I've also listened to meditation videos where the person was just irritating. And it's just like, nah, I can't get into this, or even the Deepak Chopra ones, whoever put it up, like put an ad in the middle of the actual meditation.
No.
No. So angry. The comments were like, what the fuck? Like, yeah. You're just
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, you're just kind of like, do you know who you are? Like, you just want to be like, do you even know what you put? Was it on YouTube?
It was on YouTube.
Oh my God. Just like completely not understanding the purpose. You're just like, man, just put up how to build a car videos if you're going to put an ad in the middle of it. Like, don't do it in the middle of a meditation video, you psychopath.
Yeah.
I know you're trying to make money off somebody else. I mean, whatever.
What I will say about meditation, it's really hard for me too. And it's not like I fucking stick with it, It's like I'm always picking it up and putting it down and going, I should meditate, and I pick it up and then I just go, it's fuck it, and put it down. Because I think the problem is that the benefits are so subtle that sticking with it is harder. Because like I will stick with something if I start to see change and I start to see my improvement, and it's just like, okay, let's keep doing it, and like you're on a roll, and that's how you get into it. But if you don't see that right away, or it's too subtle, that motivation's gone. So
which is weird because I've stuck with therapy, and I would say therapy is a very similar subtle change. And I feel like it's elongated over time and only after certain problems come up in my life, can I see the benefits that therapy has? Because it's like you go, you push yourself, you learn, you think, you do all the work, and then someone hurts you, or you don't get an opportunity, or you get rejected, or something happens, and then your brain process of how you think about yourself, how you think about the opportunity, all that stuff is like just a little bit different, or you're able to process it better. And that's when you go, oh, it wasn't just making, because like sometimes you're in therapy and it helps in the moment, but like the long-term effects of it took a really long time for me to notice the change and appreciate the change. Also, like we've always talked about it with exercise, like if you're going by weight loss or how your body looks, for me to continue to exercise and feel good about it, I had to shift what I was looking at. Like it couldn't be about weight loss. It had to be about like having muscles, or how much I picked up, or how far I ran, or how much faster I got, or goals that were just finish. Like I had to find different bite-sized goals. And so I know enough about myself that if I am going to pick up meditation again and really stick with it, it has to be just do it for 5 minutes. Like just fucking like the high five is the doing it. It's not the like, because there's all these benefits. I mean, like they literally talk about like lower blood pressure, improved circulation, lower heart rate, less perspiration.
Here's what I've found from the small amount of meditation that I've been able to accomplish is that I've noticed that after I do go a week of meditating, anxiety will come up, but it almost feels like it kind of like soothes over it. Like I want to say like Pepto-Bismol or something. It's just like, and it's
It
it coats it with peace. And that's a huge deal.
No, I agree.
And that's just the smaller amount of shit meditation that I do. And like, because I get anxiety when I have to do anything. When I have anything on my schedule, it's like, oh God, I got to do a phone call at 4, and it's not you, obviously, but like, and it's just like, you just kind of feel this, like, everything's just like, and then it just kind of goes, oh, that's fine. Everything's fine. It doesn't last. It's not like I stay in this joyous, peaceful place, but I wonder if like misophonia can be cured from that.
I wonder, I mean, what's crazy about it is I fully believe everything everybody says. It's not even like what's going on with the whole mask thing where people are like, it doesn't actually protect you. There's like all these people that have like the pros and cons of what's going on with the coronavirus and protecting ourselves. And I have zero debate. I fully believe everything everybody says about meditation. And I want the benefits, but it's like, I don't know if it's just like Americanism where I'm just like, if I can't take a pill, I don't want to do it. And I'm not even that person. I feel like anxious people need it the most, yet it's 9 times harder for anxious people. Like, I wonder if the people that are really drawn to it initially are either the people that need it the most, or it's the people that it's the easiest step for. I guess for me, like, if I know the benefits of it, I understand that things take time and that it's going to be a subtle growth. Why can't I get myself to do it? I'm not propelled from it because I do try it. I feel like every 6 months I go on a 2-week, I'm going to do this. And I like download an app, or like I read a book about it. Or like, I will say this, like my Fitbit, this is what I've noticed. This is my compromise as somebody that's not consistently doing it. My Fitbit has a setting called relax. And what it does is it has like a little circle, and you breathe in with the circle and you exhale as the circle constricts. And there's a 2-minute one and there's a 5-minute one. So when I'm in a doctor's appointment and they leave you, how like the nurse measures you and weighs you and then they leave for a time that's like, if my appointment was at 2:30, you can't leave me in a room for 45 minutes. Like, what are we doing here? And what I try to do is I try to leave my phone in my bag across the room. Half the time you're like in a paper gown. So you're just like, I'm not going to get up just in case they see me getting up. So I'm just like half naked holding a phone. I was like, I'm not doing this, Liz. Like, so I try to play like games with myself. And one of them is I'll do my little 5-minute breathy app while I'm sitting waiting for the doctor. Clearly, I want to look at my phone. I'm alone.
I think that's really telling, because you're willing to meditate when you're in a chunk of time for your health.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to meditate like in the middle of your day when you could be writing emails, writing jokes, doing something more productive than meditating. And you're somebody your thoughts are like, you need to be in control, and your thoughts are, I don't know if they control you or if you're controlling. I don't know, but like an absence of thoughts for you is hell. And
I feel like my thoughts also torture me. Like
they do, because I texted you, I was down and you were down, and I told you what was wrong, and I was like, are you okay? And you're like, I just feel like I'm carrying around a prison that is my brain. So maybe I'm off the mark with that, but I just feel like maybe in another podcast you said you can't even take baths without having like a game or something. There's no relaxing for you.
And I don't want to be this person. Like, I find it fascinating. Like, I love games. Like, that's my favorite thing. Is like, I've noticed I have 2 new jokes where I talk about games that I used to play. And like, one was like a babysitting game that I played with my little brothers. And another is like this, I call it fantasy math, where like I think about like the highest paid gig and I try to figure out how much money I actually would have made if I made that money every week for a year, and how much better my life would be. So like, when there's no ability to be on my phone, or I don't want to read, or I don't want to do work, it's my next step isn't, well, find something to just chill out. It's like, well, how do I fill up this time? So like, we talked about it in the bath episode, where like, I will try to do my little Fitbit app. Like, I almost like punish myself. I'm like, if I'm in the bath, I'm going to try to relax for 5 minutes, but I can't even just sit there and relax. Like, I have to be on my watch, breathing in and breathing out. Like, I'll be honest, those like retreats where all you do is like eat soup and meditate for like a week sounds like a form of torture.
Yeah.
Like, people are like, you go through stuff but you really break through. I'd be like, I don't know why I would pay or willingly do that.
Oh, I would love to do that.
I know it would be
Can
beneficial.
you write? Are you allowed to write? Like, while you're...
No, I don't think, no, I don't. That's also like, if I was able to write, I think it would be helpful.
Because that would be productive.
Yeah, that's true.
You're kind of a workaholic.
Oh, I definitely am. I can admit that. I know it's a problem. Like, I'm not going to deny that it's not a problem. But like, okay, you go on these meditation chunks, or like these meditation moments. What is your goal to get out of it? Is it just to feel less anxious? Is it like...
Well, I never said I wanted to go on one, but
you've been doing the Deepak Chopra things. You told me.
I thought you said like on a retreat.
Oh, no, not a retreat. No,
like,
no, I'm just meant like these chunks of time where you like, we talk about like, all right, I'm starting this week. Somebody would start a new diet or something.
Yeah, I was hoping to become more focused and more calm.
Okay.
So what did you find out as far as the benefits for meditating were?
Okay, so lower blood pressure, improved circulation, lower heart rate, less perspiration, which I was like, is that just because you're not stressed? I was like, I don't know. Slower respiratory rate, less anxiety, more of a feeling of well-being, less stress, deeper relaxation. And I think there's more than that. Like,
I think like that whole list needs like a PR person on them, because it was a boring list for like...
I know you're not going to get, especially if you're like an exhilaration junkie. Like, I do think in some ways, because we do stand up, yes, we're not like, bungee jumping and like skydiving and shit, but I do think we're a little bit of like exhilaration junkies. So there is a part of me that's just like we go up in front of people and we're like, fear can't stop me. And then like meditation is just like calm, and you're like, this is boring.
It's just such a doctor's like lower heart rate. It's like, well, I don't care about that at this point in my life, but I want a doctor to be, or I want a list to be like less anxious about obligations. It's like, oh, cool. Yeah.
I wish it would actually, you're so right. It does need a PR. I wish it would say stuff like, you wouldn't care when your boyfriend does this thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you almost wish they got super, like the way you wish, fucking, what do you call them? Gemini, stars.
Zodiac?
Thank you. Like your not zodiac, but like horoscope. Thank you. I'm my brain. But like, you almost wish your horoscope was super specific, where it's like, hey Maria, this week's just going to be a bad week. Don't take it personal. It's going to be fine.
I had a super specific horoscope about my stand-up comedy career. Remember, I think I read that on the podcast before.
And that's how you got.
But yeah, I would want it to be like, that phone call you have at 4, and it's just like, oh shit, yeah. It's like, no, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah,
you might actually just enjoy it. Things are fun. Life is kind of great. I think meditation puts you in a more positive, because me and my friend Allie used to both sort of say the same thing, and like, which is, she kind of had a like fuck it, what's the point of anything outlook in life. Mm-hmm. And I had a sort of like, fuck it, like it wasn't like what's the point, but it's like nothing means anything. I think, you know what I mean? Like that sort of thing, where it's just like, we could do whatever we want and life is great. And for her, it was like, so life sucks. And so what's the point? Does that make sense? It's just perspective.
Same outcome, different sides of it.
Yeah. Like nothing matters, right? Like nothing fucking matters, or nothing matters. So enjoy it.
I don't know if we've ever talked about it, but like I do have a pretty negative outlook. Like I find in general that I'm a positive friend. So if you come to me with a problem, I know how to be the positive person to you.
Yeah.
But when I'm left alone with my thoughts, I'm very negative.
Mm.
And I've learned over time with therapy to be less myself. But my default is Allie. My default is, what the fuck is the point? And nothing matters, and it's just gonna fucking suck anyway. Everything I've learned to be positive is just that I learned it. Like somebody put it there, and I have to keep almost going back to it. I feel like it's like probably like a Bible self-help book that I just keep going back to, and it's being like, it's gonna work out. And then I get negative again, and then I go back and I go, okay, it's gonna work out. And I have to keep, and I almost feel like meditation could be a less hokey version of that, where it's like, everything sucks and I'm so stressed. And then meditation's like, hey, bro.
Chill out, man.
Hey, man. None of this really matters.
Yeah,
but like
exactly.
in a Hawaii way, and not in a like Jersey life sucks way.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, but it's a huge difference, but it is the same exact thing. And it's just, you just need to be on the other side of the coin or whatever. I think that you should take the 21-day Deepak Chopra challenge. And I'm going to take it too. And then like we can, in 3 weeks time, kind of recheck in and see.
How long are the episodes? Or
I think they're like 15 minutes. So it'll be like, you'll meditate for like 6 minutes. I think he actually increases them every day, but that's what the sense I got. He didn't actually say that. But so he'll talk for a little bit at the beginning and tell you like intention, and he'll give you a word you can go back to. If your thoughts start to creep in, you can just sort of repeat this word to yourself. And then it's over.
Bullshit.
What do you mean?
I'm just saying.
Oh, the word is bullshit.
Like, yeah, like do I get to choose the word? And then I went English with bollocks, and then I decided to Americanize it, make it bullshit.
Bollocks means balls.
Yeah, but people use it as like, that's ridiculous.
Bollocks. But yeah, if you want to say bullshit, you do that. I support it.
Did you find this? I was looking up like the different types of meditation, and they said there was mindfulness, spiritual, focused, movement, mantra, and transcendental.
I don't know the difference between the meditations. I'm dying to know what transcendental meditation is, but apparently you have to just pay a ton of money to figure it out.
That's kind of how I feel. Like they talk about like Seinfeld doing it and like all these celebrities doing it.
Yeah.
And I just want to be like, do you need money to do it? Do you need like, first of all, like, does it just mean you become famous? Because I don't know any non-famous person.
Is it like the Scientology of meditation?
It feels like it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I almost wanted to cross it out and be like, because like mindfulness, I feel is like most of the apps. Like I've done Headspace and Calm for the free periods. Really, it's almost like your joke about was it Tinder's or
Match.com, or it's like I want to fall in love, but I don't want to pay more than like $15 to do it, or something like that.
Yeah, like that's how I feel. Like there's a paywall between me and calmness. Yeah, and it's about 2 weeks in. Maybe that's why I always hit a 2-week mark with this stuff, because I'm cheap / broke.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm too broke to be calm. Nobody talks about it.
I was on Spotify looking for Deepak Chopra, and his newest one, I couldn't listen to it because he would say something, and then in the background, as if like it was like a computer voice repeating what he said. So he was like, if he says,
like a backup singer?
Breathe deeply 5 times. It'll be like, breathe deeply 5 times. And it's just like, did Ross Geller mix this? I told myself I wouldn't have any more Friends references, but I can't. It's a part of me.
Do they not have a focus group? I feel like that's the most important focus group, is like, this is distracting and not calming.
It totally ruined the whole thing. I couldn't.
Oh God. I wish there was also like a button where you could be like, can I not have the robot Friends repeat guy?
But it's like ASMR. Like you have to find the thing that like the voice that doesn't irritate you.
That's the other thing is like, so I listened to, there's a great podcast, How I Built This. I think, How I Built This by NPR, where it talks about inventors and entrepreneurs. And so it was the 2 guys that started Headspace. And I found it fascinating, and I really enjoyed it. And like, what's crazy about it is like, I think it's 2 guys, but the guy that like his whole job was to help people meditate. And then he turned it into an app. And this guy was kind of I think it was one of his clients, was basically like, how do we kind of make this marketable? And he's like, I was a monk. Like, I don't think this way. And the guy's like, he was like, yeah, but you're going to help people. He's like, yeah, but money. Like, it was just so funny how like, he was like, very much like, this is a thing that I do and I help people and whatever, but like doing it on a mass scale. And it took a while for him to kind of change his mind on it. I do like Headspace. I like the guy's voice. It's like an adorable English accent. And I think I've had a breakthrough. I really think the paywall is what stops me, because it's like they do these things and I go, oh, I want to do this. And then it's like, well, you have to spend this much money and it's a monthly fee. And I feel like I'm not going to keep it up. And so it's a waste of $30 a month or whatever. And then I just go, I'll fucking do it on my own, but I am not able to do it on my own, or I'm not motivated to do it on my own. And then I quit.
Yeah.
I think I really discovered
maybe
something.
like if you have to be accountable to me, maybe you'll actually get it done and we can recheck in.
Ruin our friendship.
And our podcast.
Yeah. I don't know. I do think that would actually be a fun challenge for us to do it and then come back and be like, are you a better person?
But I mean, even the way you say that, it already puts you in the mental headspace that 3 weeks isn't enough. And like, that wouldn't really change much. Just by the way you said, are you a better person? Like kind of making fun of it. You might be in a better place. You might actually get to sleep, bitch. Like you need to sleep.
I did for a while try to do it before I went to bed, and it's fucking I don't know why it's torture for me. I would love to find out why it's torture. Okay. I'm accepting this challenge.
Great. Okay. So our listeners can expect to hear in 3 weeks we'll check in about it, but whenever we post it, it's a different story. Yeah. But like at some point you're going to hear about what happened and if we're better people. And if that has made us worse as podcasters, will we be less funny? Will we be more focused?
I'm totally against that.
Understanding and caring.
You say something to me and I'm like, sweetheart, cupcake. We don't say that. We don't say that. I just become like, we don't feel that way.
I love that in this scenario, I'm still fucking up. Like, we both got enlightened, but I'm the only one still going, fuck this.
That was aggressive on my part. All right. I would like to hear people's meditation stories, both meditation fails, like they went to a retreat or they tried doing something. And also the people that like, I think the biggest thing is like, you almost have to find your meditation. The same way we talked about like therapy is like this trial and error. And like, you have to find the person that you're able to open up with. I fully believe I'm kind of eating my own words and I have to do some experimenting and some patience to find the type of meditation that I can stick with. And it's going to be a trial and error that is uncomfortable for me. I fully believe that that's some of it, but I would love to hear a non-famous person that's done transcendental meditation. Yeah. Anybody's positive and or fails with meditation, I think you should write to us. Join our Patreon.
Yes.
Stickers soon.
Thank you to all our current patrons. And thanks for listening. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.